So there we were in missionary candidate school. It was 1991, and most of us were pretty new to the mission, and none of us had been to the field yet. And they had asked an older missionary to give the devotion. And I'll never forget, he stood up and he said, he just asked us one question: what are you going to offer the European? We were quiet. A lot of them were educated in seminary. What are you going to offer the European? Are you going to offer them your education? Is that what you're going to offer them? He said, what are you going to offer them? Are you going to offer them your religion? Most of the cathedrals in Europe some of them are up to 1,000 years old. You're going to offer them your culture? Is that what you're going to offer them? And I realized I didn't know much about the European culture. The only thing about the Austrian culture I knew was The Sound of Music, and that really wasn't a movie that most Austrians know. I didn't know much about classical music. I knew that Mozart was from Austria, but I didn't know anything more than that. And I realized I really didn't have a whole lot to offer. And yet I was going to go to Austria to be a missionary. It was a humbling question, and then he said, you're going to offer them the only thing that you can offer them. And then he paused and he said that you know God. I didn't know German. I had to learn German. I didn't really know the Austrian culture, and I had to learn that, and I'm still learning that. There was just a lot to learn. What I did learn at the beginning were the statistics. That's what every missionary has to do. There were statistics that missionaries learned right away so that we can communicate to the churches. For instance, there are over 8 million people in Austria, and more than 2 million people that live in Vienna. Out of these millions of people, there are only a few believers. There are just too many numbers, and those are the statistics. But really, that's not the point of the story, and that's not really what I wanted to explain. So the point of the story is everything that I do in Austria has to come out of my relationship with God. It's not really about strategies or numbers or the need. The need is never the call. God called me to Austria, but He's been doing a lot of work inside my heart. In the last 20 years, He's been doing a whole lot of work in relationship areas, learning about conflict, forgiveness, reconciliation, all of those things, practicing. And out of that relationship with Him, it's like when you squeeze grapes, juice comes out. The juice has been songs. I've written a lot of songs, and they seem to work really well in Austria to communicate to the Austrians, whether they're Christians or not Christians, to communicate to them this living relationship with Christ. And that's what's been really special in the last couple of years, to be working with Austrian musicians and giving concerts. One song that I wrote just tried to reflect the day-to-day routine of knowing God. It's about just starting the day with Him. Wake up and I put the coffee on, and I'm wondering what's going to happen during this day. And it's called Just Another Day in the Hands of God.
Just another day in the hands of God. Come, I seldom see the hand that's holding me.
Another problem that I find when I talk with a lot of people about their faith is they tend to confuse religion and the relationship with God. It's never about religion. Jesus Christ hated religion. He hated the systems that made people enslaved to doing something to please God. It's always about the relationship. And I wrote a song with a little country western flair. It has to do with my background in Texas, and it's called High Road. And it's basically about that. What is this walk with God? What is this walk with Jesus Christ?
It's not about religion or seeking higher ground. It's simple and it's not that hard to see. It's all about accepting my part in God's big plan. There is a God, and He's not me.
A few years ago, in my time alone with God, I was praying, and I was really praying intensely. I was praying for a situation. I don't remember really what it was at the time, and I had my hands intensely closed, and I was praying that God act and that I would be wise and that I would be able to handle things right and I would be able to do everything right. And I realized that my hands were closed like in a fist. And I opened them up and they were stiff and sweaty. And I thought, this can't be what ministry is about, that I have to try hard and work hard and somehow help God out. This can't be what ministry is about. I realized that it's about having open hands and receiving from God His love and His grace and His mercy, and out of that flows from me then the work that I have to do here. And I wrote a song called Open Hands. All that I can give is what I receive from Him.
All I can give is what I receive from you. All I can give is what I receive from you. All I can give is what I receive from you. I come.
My job in Austria is not to be in the limelight. A lot of what I do is up front because of the music. My heart is discipleship. That's always been there. Helping people walk closer to God, or helping them understand that He's really very different than what we think He is. He's not an American God, and He's not an Austrian God. I'm trying to help the Austrian church understand that, who He really is. And it's a process that I've been involved in too, in understanding who He is. I wrote a song in German, and it's called Wir stimmen in Jesu Lobpreis ein. It actually means we're joining Jesus in praising, or we join Him in praise. And during the concert, it's one of the last songs, and that's when usually the musicians really show what they can do. I actually leave the stage. They show the giftedness that they have. They just start to play, and I'm not even on the stage anymore. That's a picture for me of maybe what the missionary should be trying to focus on doing. And that when I'm gone, they're still playing and they're doing they're showing their stuff.
Gitarre Dominik Grafik.
Yeah. Show the giftedness that they have. They just start to play, and I'm not even on the stage anymore. That's a picture for me of maybe what the missionary should be trying to focus on doing.